A wave of nausea had Liam feeling unsteady at his desk again, the office air thick with the scent of stale coffee and photocopier toner. He'd been feeling off for weeks, a persistent exhaustion clinging to him like the damp Chicago chill. His colleague, Sarah, noticed his pallor and joked that if she didn't know he was single, she'd think he had morning sickness. The light-hearted comment landed with the weight of an anchor. His fingers froze over the keyboard. A month ago, a chaotic, desperate night fueled by loneliness and too much bourbon. Couldn't be. Not from a single mistake. He took the next day off, the visit to a small clinic off Michigan Avenue feeling surreal. Emerging onto the bustling street with the confirmation printed on a sterile sheet of paper, Liam felt a dizzying mix of terror and wonder. He instinctively placed a hand over his flat stomach, where a new life was taking hold. A miracle, the doctor had called it. His physiology was such that conceiving should have been nearly impossible. When Liam had asked how it could have happened on the first try, the doctor had given him a knowing look, explaining that his alpha must be exceptionally potent. The memory of the doctor's office, clinical and quiet, faded as the city's noise rushed back in. Liam couldn't even clearly recall the alpha's face, only the overwhelming scent of cool mint that had clung to his skin for days. Within an hour, walking along the lakefront, the wind whipping at his coat, Liam made a decision. He would keep it. His own parents had remarried and drifted away, leaving him feeling like an afterthought in their new lives. This child, this tiny, impossible life was a connection. It was his. He'd worked hard since college, saving diligently. He could do this. The decision brought a strange sense of peace, which was promptly shattered by a call from Sarah. She reminded him not to miss the big meeting tomorrow. The new CEO, parachuted in from corporate headquarters, was making his first address. As the department head, Liam's absence would be noted. Sarah added, with a conspiratorial whisper, that the new boss was supposedly a top-tier alpha, impossibly handsome and powerful. Liam, now preoccupied with impending single fatherhood, found he had little interest in the man's looks. The next day, the conference room buzzed with anticipation. When the new CEO walked in, a ripple of applause followed him. Only Liam remained frozen in his seat. The face was no longer a blur. It was sharp, defined, and smiling faintly at the room. The voice that followed, introducing himself as Ethan Vance, was the same deep, smooth tone that had whispered against his ear in the dark. It was him, the father of his child. Liam wanted nothing more than to dissolve under the polished mahogany table. The rest of the meeting was a torment of feigned composure. As soon as it ended, Liam was ready to bolt, but Ethan's voice cut through the noise, asking all department managers to stay behind. Liam sank back into his chair, keeping his head down, praying the dim lighting of the hotel room that night had obscured his features. He'd woken up first and fled before dawn. Surely Ethan wouldn't remember him. Ethan's voice suddenly directed a question at him, asking about a stalled project. A nudge from the manager beside him brought Liam back to reality. He looked up, meeting Ethan's gaze. It was intense, a flicker of surprise and deep curiosity in his eyes. Liam cleared his throat and managed to answer, his voice miraculously steady. Walking out of the room, his legs felt like jelly. Quitting was not an option. He'd just gotten a promotion, and now he had a baby to support. As long as he said nothing, Ethan would never know. He'd barely settled back at his desk when Ethan's assistant summoned him to the corner office. Ethan was leaning back in his chair, the city skyline framed behind him, his eyes fixed on Liam with unnerving focus. He stated, more than asked, that they had met before. Liam shook his head, insisting that Mr. Vance must be mistaken. Ethan's lips curved into a small, confident smile. He remembered a distinct tangerine scent, he said. Liam's hand flew to his own neck, to the gland that betrayed him. Ethan continued, his voice low, mentioning a bite mark on his shoulder that hadn't quite faded, remarking on how sharp Liam's teeth were before accusing him of taking his first time and running. Heat flooded Liam's face. He was the one carrying a secret child, yet Ethan spoke as if he were the wronged party. Liam gathered his courage and stated that Mr. Vance should choose his words carefully. What happened that night was a mistake, a consequence of alcohol, and it was best if they both forgot it. Ethan's brow arched, a clear sign of his displeasure. Back in the main office, the team's group chat was alive with gossip about the new CEO. They marveled at his looks, his status as the heir to the company, and the oppressive power of his S-grade alpha presence. Someone mentioned his pheromones smelled like mint. Liam scrolled through the messages and then, on an impulse, searched Ethan Vance online. The results were intimidating. An MBA from a top Ivy League school, a list of accolades, a history of skipping grades. He was brilliant. Liam looked down at his stomach. The genetics, at least, were impressive. The night it happened had been his birthday. Friends had sent texts and gifts, but the chat windows with his parents remained empty. They had forgotten. Feeling adrift, he'd wandered into a downtown cocktail bar. The rest was a blur of motion, the scent of mint, the security of a strong embrace, and the city's neon lights smearing past a car window before the first hint of dawn. He'd woken up tangled in unfamiliar sheets, in an alpha's arms, and fled in a panic. He never thought he'd see the man again. He tried to console himself with the thought that Ethan was only here temporarily, a trial run before returning to headquarters. At a company dinner a week later, Liam found himself in another difficult situation. Mark, a manager from another department known for his abrasive personality, was loudly toasting Ethan. When the attention turned to Liam, he poured himself a glass of iced tea, explaining that for health reasons, he couldn't drink alcohol. He offered a toast with his tea instead. Ethan simply nodded and touched his wine glass to Liam's. But Mark sneered, accusing Liam of being pretentious and disrespecting the new CEO. Liam felt Ethan's gaze on him, coolly amused. He knew, of course, that Liam had been drinking the night they met. Before Liam could defend himself, Ethan spoke, his voice dangerously soft, wondering aloud why Mark was so agitated. The pointed remark sent a chill through the table, and Mark paled, stammering an apology. Liam felt a wave of relief, but it was quickly replaced by a familiar surge of nausea. He excused himself and rushed to the restroom. He was intercepted in the hallway on his way back. It was Mark, his face twisted with resentment. He accused Liam of playing the delicate Omega to get the CEO's attention, hissing that everyone knew how Omegas like him got ahead. Liam's jaw tightened. This wasn't the first time Mark had spread rumors about him, especially after his recent promotion. Liam told him coldly that a dark heart sees darkness everywhere. Mark laughed, a harsh, ugly sound, and made a crude comment about him being used. The slap was instantaneous. Liam's hand stung. He warned Mark to back off, but the alpha, enraged, grabbed him by the throat. Liam struggled, sinking his teeth into Mark's hand. With a cry of pain, Mark shoved him hard, kicking out. Liam instinctively curled around his stomach, stumbling backward into a solid, warm chest. A familiar mint scent enveloped him, and the nausea subsided. Ethan held him steady, his voice like ice as he asked Mark what he was doing. Mark, panicked, blurted out that Liam had been trying to seduce him. Liam started to protest, but Ethan didn't need to hear it. He shoved Mark away, his voice low and menacing. informing him that if he ever saw him harassing a colleague again, he would be fired immediately. Mark scrambled away. Ethan's arm remained around Liam's waist until they reached the door of the private dining room. Liam gently stepped away from his hold. Ethan asked if he was all right. Liam nodded, thanking him, his heart still pounding. The kick had landed on his thigh, inches away from being catastrophic. After the dinner, Liam stood on the curb trying to hail a rideshare, but the wait was long. A black Maybach pulled up, the window gliding down to reveal Ethan. He offered a ride home. Liam refused, saying his car was almost there, not wanting to fuel any more office gossip. Ethan was unmoved, pointing out that several colleagues were walking by right now, and their speculation would be worse if he left his manager stranded. Defeated, Liam got in. The car's interior was warm and smelled deeply of Ethan. The combination was dangerously soothing, a strange effect of his pregnancy hormones. He found himself drifting off, and when he woke, his head was resting on Ethan's shoulder. He straightened up immediately, apologizing. Ethan just looked at him, his eyes dark and unreadable, and told him not to be so formal. As Liam got out of the car, Ethan stopped him. He said that if Liam truly wanted his attention, he wouldn't object. Before Ethan could finish, Liam cut him off with a quick thank you and a good night, escaping into his apartment building. He couldn't afford a workplace romance, especially not with his boss, and especially not under these circumstances. Life continued, punctuated by bouts of morning sickness. He started talking to his belly, feeling the growing connection to the life inside. His interactions with Ethan became a daily routine, brief meetings to sign documents or discuss project strategies. He was undeniably a competent and fair leader, but the faint scent of his pheromones in the office wasn't enough to quell the persistent nausea. The thought of stealing one of Ethan's jackets crossed his mind more than once. Then an email arrived. Ethan wanted him to join him on a business trip to San Francisco to finalize a deal Liam had been spearheading. He couldn't refuse. At the meeting, the client, an older man, frowned upon seeing Liam. His disappointment that the project lead was an Omega was palpable. Throughout the discussion, he consistently directed his questions to Ethan, ignoring Liam. When Liam had to excuse himself due to a wave of sickness, he returned to see Ethan inquiring about his well-being, which only seemed to confirm the client's assumption that Liam was little more than Ethan's pretty companion. Halfway through the pitch, Ethan cut the client off. He asked if he had failed to introduce his colleague properly. He gestured to Liam, identifying him as the manager of their project department and the primary force behind all the preliminary work. He stated flatly that if the client was unwilling to negotiate with Liam, then there was nothing more to discuss. Ethan stood to leave, and Liam, stunned, quickly followed. The client sputtered apologies, but Ethan walked out without a backward glance. In the car, Liam hesitantly asked if that had been too drastic. Ethan glanced at him, his expression firm. He said there was nothing wrong with it. In his view, Alpha, Beta, and Omega were irrelevant in business. He'd read Liam's file and was impressed by his work. Anyone who judged a partner by their designation wasn't worth their time. The words warmed something deep inside Liam. It was the first time anyone in a position of power had ever affirmed his worth so unequivocally. As the car moved through traffic, the atmosphere shifted. Ethan's breathing grew heavy and ragged. He admitted his rut had come on early. There were no suppressants in the car. As Ethan struggled, Liam felt an answering pull, his own Omega hormones reacting to the potent pheromones flooding the small space. The mix of mint and tangerine was dizzying. Ethan looked at him, his eyes hazy with need, and Liam instinctively covered his neck. A ghost of a smile touched Ethan's lips as he promised he wouldn't do anything, but he asked if Liam could release more of his scent, admitting it was soothing. Liam complied, and Ethan closed his eyes, his breathing slowly evening out. When the driver returned with suppressants, Ethan took them, the tension in his body easing, though he was left drained and feverish. Back at the hotel, he refused help from anyone but Liam. Once inside his suite, he pulled Liam in with him, shrugging off his own jacket and pulling Liam's from his shoulders, clutching the garment to his chest. It was nesting behavior. Liam watched, fascinated and concerned. He touched Ethan's forehead. It was burning. Liam ended up caring for him through the worst of it, partly out of a selfish desire to stay close to the mint pheromones that soothed his own pregnancy symptoms. In his fevered state, Ethan would talk. He asked Liam if he had a boyfriend. When Liam shook his head, a satisfied smile spread across Ethan's face. He started to ramble, assuring Liam this wasn't workplace harassment, just a personal question outside of office hours, before trailing off into sleep. While he slept, Liam took one of his silk pajama shirts from his suitcase. He had several. One wouldn't be missed. Ethan never mentioned the missing shirt. Once his rut passed, he was back to his professional self. They secured a new, better partnership in the city before flying back to Chicago. Sarah was waiting for him at the office, eager for gossip. She wanted to know if any sparks had flown between the lone Alpha and lone Omega on their trip. Liam calmly denied it, stating they were there for work. But Sarah persisted, saying they looked good together and that Ethan's defense of him against Mark had been heroic. As they were talking, their phones began buzzing insistently. A link had been posted in the company group chat. Sarah's face fell. Her ship, she lamented, had sunk. Liam clicked the link. It was an interview with a famous actor, a beautiful Omega, who referred to Ethan Vance as his fiancé. Liam's gaze shot toward Ethan's office. The blinds were open, and for a second, their eyes met before Liam quickly looked away. So he was engaged. A strange, unidentifiable emotion washed over him. He looked down at his stomach. This secret would have to be kept forever. On the day of his next prenatal appointment, his best friend, Noah, went with him. Noah was the only person who knew his secret. The doctor assured them the baby was healthy. As they left the office, excitedly debating whether it would be a boy or a girl, they ran directly into Ethan. Standing beside him was a sweet-faced Omega who was not the actor from the interview. Liam quickly hid the ultrasound photo behind his back. Ethan looked surprised to see him, his expression shifting to concern as he asked if Liam was unwell. Liam mumbled something about a routine checkup. Ethan seemed relieved, explaining he was visiting a relative and introducing the Omega beside him as his cousin. Just as they were about to part ways, the doctor hurried out, calling after Liam. He handed over a small bag, saying they'd forgotten the prenatal vitamins and reminding him not to overwork himself during the pregnancy. The word hung in the air. Ethan's face was a mask of shock, his gaze darting between Liam and Noah. "Pregnant?" he whispered. "You're married?" To prevent a cascade of impossible questions, Liam seized the moment. He nodded. The disbelief in Ethan's eyes was sharp. He reminded Liam that he'd said he didn't have a boyfriend. Liam, digging the hole deeper, explained that he didn't have a boyfriend, but he did have a husband. With a hasty goodbye, he grabbed Noah's arm and fled. Once they were clear, Noah asked if that was the father, noting that the guy seemed interested in Liam. Liam vehemently denied it, insisting they were from different worlds and that Ethan had a fiancée. Ethan was absent from work for the next 3 days. When he returned on Thursday, he was a storm cloud of grim silence. Sarah whispered, wondering who had upset him. In the office, people speculated that he'd had a fight with his Omega. Liam glanced at his office door, but the blinds were drawn. Later, when Liam went in to discuss work, he found Ethan staring intently at his stomach. That evening, Ethan cornered him in the parking garage. He looked torn as he asked if Liam was really married. Liam confirmed it. Ethan's voice was strained when he brought up their night together. Liam quickly interrupted, calling it an accident and assuring him the child wasn't his. He was surprised to see Ethan's expression darken even further. Then Ethan asked if he and his partner were happy. Liam, caught in his lie, said they'd known each other since they were children and were very happy together, asking Ethan to keep their one night a secret. A single lie required 1,000 more to sustain it. Ethan's expression was pained. He told Liam that his beta wasn't being faithful, that he'd been seen on dates with another beta. He said that even though they had a child, he didn't want to see Liam being deceived. Liam was floored. Noah had mentioned his family was setting him up on dates. What were the chances that Ethan would find out? Desperate to end the conversation, Liam thanked him for his concern and turned to leave. But Ethan stopped him again, his voice earnest, saying that an Omega and a Beta were not a suitable match. He urged Liam not to sacrifice his own happiness for the sake of a child, telling him he deserved better. Liam let him believe the misunderstanding. As long as he didn't know the truth about the baby, it was for the best. When the client from their San Francisco trip invited them for a factory tour, Ethan sent a message telling Liam to stay home and rest, assigning another manager to go in his place. It was a kind gesture. That night, Liam lay on his bed, cuddling the stolen pajama shirt. Its mint scent was fading, and with it, his sense of well-being. During a routine checkup, a sudden spell of dizziness sent the world spinning, and Liam collapsed in the hospital corridor. Through a hazy consciousness, he felt himself being lifted. A wave of pure mint pheromones washed over him, and like a man dying of thirst, he instinctively pressed his face against the source, inhaling deeply. The person holding him faltered. A familiar voice, tight with strain, told him to hold still. Waking again, he was in a private room. A doctor was speaking to an alpha, explaining that pregnant omegas develop a powerful dependency and require the presence and pheromones of their alpha for stability. He was chiding the man for his negligence. Before Liam could correct the assumption, he heard Ethan respectfully telling the doctor he understood and would be more careful in the future. After the doctor left, Ethan pulled a chair to the bedside, his face unreadable. He told Liam they weren't at work, that he could use his name. His phone buzzed repeatedly, and his expression turned cold. He turned the screen to Liam, showing him photos. It was Noah holding hands with someone at a musical. Ethan's voice was filled with righteous anger as he asked why Liam wouldn't divorce such a cheater. It was a good thing he'd been at the hospital visiting his relative and found him. Liam realized what must have happened. Noah was supposed to come with him but had a date with the beta he'd been seeing. Liam had insisted he go. He looked at Ethan and asked if he'd had Noah followed. Ethan's aggressive demeanor vanished. He admitted that as Liam's boss, he didn't want to see him being taken advantage of. Just then, both their phones rang. As Ethan stepped away to take his call, Liam answered his. It was Noah, his voice panicked. He said some large alphas had just confronted him and his date, accusing him of being a married cheater. To avoid a fight and a misunderstanding, Noah had blurted out that he wasn't married at all. He apologized profusely to Liam, guessing the men had been sent by the baby's father. Liam hung up, feeling a sense of exhausted resignation. Ethan finished his call and walked back, his eyes shining with a dawning realization. The baby was his, wasn't it? His expression shifted from stormy to bright. He reasoned that if the child wasn't his, Liam would have had no reason to lie at the hospital. He added softly that he'd been trying to remember that night, and he was sure that, like him, it had been Liam's first time. The fight went out of Liam. He confessed that the child was indeed his. He planned to raise it, he said, but assured Ethan it would have nothing to do with him. He would sign any document to guarantee the child would never be a part of his life. Ethan's face fell again. He told Liam not to think that way. He would never force him to terminate the pregnancy, nor would he try to take the child. Liam's voice became small as he mentioned Ethan's fiancée. He explained the doctor's words about the pregnancy being a miracle and his deep desire to have a family of his own. Ethan looked at him, completely baffled. "What fiancé?" he asked. "Who told you I have a fiancé?" He explained that while his family had arranged a match, he had no interest in the person and had run away from the arrangement, the very night he met Liam. He was single. A weight lifted from Liam's chest. "That's good," he said, thinking aloud. "Then the baby won't cause problems for your future marriage." Ethan sighed, a deep, frustrated sound. After the 4-drip was finished, he insisted on taking Liam home and seeing him to his apartment door, saying the doctor warned that his condition was precarious. He needed to leave his pheromones in the apartment to help. It made sense, so Liam agreed. Inside, Liam felt a little self-conscious about his small apartment, but Ethan looked around with genuine interest, calling it warm and noting that he liked the smell of tangerine. Then his eyes landed on the pajama shirt draped over the sofa. It was too late to hide it. A slow smile spread across Ethan's face. "So that's where my missing shirt went." As he spoke, he began releasing his pheromones, and Liam's legs went weak, forcing him to sink onto the couch. Ethan stayed late, and when he left, he deliberately left his jacket and tie behind. On Monday morning, a paper bag was sitting on Liam's office chair. Inside were several brand new, high-end pajamas, ties, and undershirts, all carrying Ethan's scent. Liam hastily stashed them away, blushing at the intimacy of the undershirts. Sarah brought him a coffee, remarking that Ethan must have reconciled with his Omega. His mood had lifted, and he was practically gliding down the halls. Liam thought about Ethan's declaration of being single and wondered at the source of his newfound joy. Packages began arriving at his home. A lumbar support pillow, expensive supplements, organic foods. All from Ethan. Liam's alarm bells rang, fearing Ethan was plotting to take the baby after all. A text from him put those fears to rest. He was just sending things Liam needed. He also insisted they have dinner together every night after work, citing the doctor's orders. And he announced he would be accompanying him to the next checkup. As the pregnancy progressed, his body changed in new ways. He woke one morning to find the front of his shirt damp and sticky. An online search for a remedy brought up a mortifying suggestion: have the alpha help. He slammed his laptop shut, his face burning as Ethan's image flashed in his mind. Later that day, a commotion erupted in the office. The beautiful celebrity Omega from the interview arrived, holding a massive bouquet of roses, and walked straight into Ethan's office. The office gossip ignited again. People whispered that they must be getting back together. Liam stared at the closed blinds of Ethan's office. The Omega stayed inside for a very long time. A sour, aching feeling bloomed in Liam's chest, followed by another unwelcome dampness on his shirt. He was overwhelmed by a sudden, intense sadness and began to cry silently at his desk. He took the rest of the day off. He was dozing on his couch at home when a frantic knocking echoed from his door. It was Ethan, his face etched with worry. He'd heard from Sarah that Liam had left sick and wanted to know what was wrong. Liam said he was fine, though he wasn't. The discomfort in his chest was becoming unbearable. Ethan started to explain about the Omega who had visited him at work. Liam, looking down at his belly, cut him off, assuring him his secret was safe. Ethan's expression crumpled in frustration. "Besides keeping my secret?" he asked, his voice strained. "Do you have any other thoughts?" Liam did, but he couldn't say them. He had spent the afternoon realizing he had fallen in love with Ethan. He was jealous of that Omega. That's why he had cried. He shook his head. No. Ethan sighed and stepped inside, closing the door behind him. "Then I haven't been clear enough," he said, his voice dropping. "Liam, I like you. You said you wanted a family. Can you let me be a part of it?" Liam's heart hammered against his ribs. Ethan explained how his world had shattered at the hospital when he thought Liam was married. How he'd spent days drinking, unable to get him out of his mind. He'd been ecstatic to learn the truth, and even more so when he discovered the child was his. He had wanted to move slowly, to show Liam his sincerity, but he couldn't wait any longer. He clarified that he had unequivocally rejected the Omega his family had chosen, and he hadn't accepted his flowers. Tears, this time of relief, streamed down Liam's face. "I like you too," he whispered. Ethan's hand, which had been wiping his tears, stilled. He stared at Liam, his eyes wide with surprise and joy, then pulled him into a tight embrace. After a moment, he drew back and kissed his forehead, his gaze then dropping to the damp spot on Liam's shirt. "Is it hot in here?" he murmured. "Your shirt is soaked." He leaned closer. "And you smell like milk." His voice trailed off as understanding dawned. Liam wished the floor would swallow him whole. Ethan led him to the sofa and pulled him onto his lap, kissing him softly, then more deeply. It wasn't their first kiss, but it felt new and charged with unspoken emotion. "I'm your alpha now, Liam," he murmured against his lips. Liam looked into his eyes and nodded. Ethan then asked, his voice husky, if he was uncomfortable. Liam gave a small nod. "Then let me help you," he whispered. The next day, he refused to think about it, but the memory of Ethan's words, a quiet murmur of appreciation, sent shivers through him. They were a couple. His baby would have a family. Felt like a dream. As his belly grew more prominent, Sarah was the first to notice. Her eyes widened, her hand flying to her mouth. "Oh my God, Liam," she gasped. "Whose is it?" He told her he couldn't say just yet. One afternoon, Ethan called him into his office under the guise of work. The moment the door closed, he pulled Liam onto his desk, whispering against his ear, asking if it had happened again. When Liam emerged from the office, his legs were unsteady. He had barely reached his desk when he saw that Mark had posted a photo of him in the company chat. It was from one of his hospital visits, taken from an angle that made his pregnancy undeniable. A cold dread washed over him as his colleagues started to whisper. Mark stood up from his desk, a malicious smirk on his face. "See?" he announced to the room. "I told you. Just another Omega sleeping his way to the top. Now he's knocked up with who knows whose bastard child." Liam stood to confront him, declaring that his child was not a bastard. Just as Mark was demanding to know who the father was, Ethan appeared behind him. His voice rang out, clear and cold. "I am Liam's alpha. The child he is carrying is mine. Are you calling my child a bastard?" The office fell silent. Mark's face went white. "Mr. Vance," he stammered. "I didn't know." Ethan's reply was swift. "You're fired." Normalcy slowly returned, but Liam's phone was exploding with messages from Sarah. who was losing her mind that her ship was real and had a baby on the way. With his due date approaching, Ethan bought a sprawling villa in a quiet suburb, and they moved in together after he'd had a magnificent nursery decorated. Liam joked that he was moving up in the world because of the baby. Ethan earnestly corrected him, saying the baby was lucky because of him. He stumbled over his words, trying to explain that he wasn't with Liam just for the child, that he'd wanted to be with him from the very beginning. Liam hugged him, assuring him he knew, and that he loved him too. One day while Liam was on maternity leave, two older men arrived at the villa unannounced. They were Ethan's father and grandfather. They immediately began berating Ethan, demanding to know why he had refused to marry the Omega they had chosen for him. "Because I already have an Omega," Ethan stated calmly, "and I'm going to marry him." Liam came down the stairs, and Ethan rushed to his side. His father looked Liam up and down with disdain. "Are you insane?" he roared at Ethan. "You're throwing your future away for an Omega who is already carrying someone else's child?" Ethan just looked at them, confused. "The child is mine," he said simply. His grandfather, who had been leaning on his cane, straightened up, his eyes wide. "What? I'm going to be a great-grandfather?" At the same time, his father whipped out his phone, excitedly telling someone on the other end that she was going to be a grandmother. The grandfather then turned to Liam, his entire demeanor changing. He was all smiles, apologizing for their harsh entrance and telling him not to take it to heart. They were just angry with their wayward son. The scene was chaotic. Ethan caught Liam's eye, and they shared a look of helpless amusement. In the following weeks, gifts poured in from Ethan's family: deeds to properties, car titles, stock portfolios. Liam was overwhelmed. 2 months later, their son was born, a healthy, happy alpha. At their wedding, the officiant asked Ethan when he first knew he loved Liam. Ethan looked at his husband, his expression full of a deep, unwavering affection. "It was love at first sight," he said, his voice clear and steady for everyone to hear. "I saw him and I was drawn to him. The second time, the third time, it was the same. It's the same now. It always will be." Liam was already crying, tears of pure joy streaming down his face. Someone had chosen him, loved him without reservation. He had a home, his home,